Hey everybody! Today we're going to talk about the missing piece in terms of mixed voice that most people have. The thing that's keeping you maybe from finding it, or one of the main things that you're not doing that will help you to get there. I don't want to keep making every video about mixed voice, but it is the main reason people are reaching out to me, that I'm teaching, a lot of people seeking me out, things like that. So I do want to try to address these concerns and try to help people on their journey, because that's kind of what I'm here to do. So if you want to figure this out, if you want to go through this with me, we're going to go through some exercises. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to try to plant some seeds in your brains, and we're going to try to figure some things out. So join me and we'll chat about it. Anybody getting tired of seeing me do this thing yet? I have no idea where that came from. It's super dumb, and I don't even like it, but felt like a good introduction to kind of be like, here's my name. Anyway, the missing piece when it comes to mixed voice. Now, a lot of people are teaching about mixed voice online. A lot of people are thinking that it's, this amazing thing that's going to change their life and fix all their problems in terms of singing. As I talked about in my last video, if you have a crappy already voice, mixed voice is only going to amplify that. It's not going to make it any better. Does it change the way you sing? Yes. It's going to do a lot of different things like that, and it's going to help it's going to help you to enjoy singing more. One of the best things about mixed voice is that once you start really trying to apply these things, even if you can't do it well, it is super fun to go up and sing fucking Guns N' Roses in your car and just 80s music and Sting, Roxanne, and all that, whereas you couldn't before at all. And you might have been convinced that this person had, a higher voice, or they had something you didn't, or whatever. Therein lies some of the fun of experimenting with this. You should be having fun experimenting with this. And remember this important piece too before I get on to the missing link here. Another important aspect of this is that, and people reach out to me about this all the time, I can sing like up to here, but like then this note happens and I can't. Should I learn mixed voice? Maybe, but that's not why we learn mixed voice. Mixed voice is not because you can hit this note but not this note. Yeah, it'll help you to hit this note, but you're going to be very, very disappointed when you start putting these pieces together and realize that this note, the way that you're hitting it now, is going to be totally, completely, fundamentally different in terms to get to this note. You don't have some kind of a quote-unquote powerful chest voice range up to here where you're shouting and yelling at people, and then all of a sudden you learn mixed and you're like, now I can hit that note too. Mixed voice is for all of this shit up here. Throwing your voice way up here into AC/DC, oh my God, this is totally bananas land, then learning how to gel that with the rest of these things, and then this all becomes much, much easier as well. But keep that in mind. You can't just be like learning some of these tricks and then just going a couple notes above. You really need to play in this whole new arena, in the whole new world up here, and really starting to get that stuff down and have fun with it, experiment with it. Then all these things are going to start clicking. It is the mixing between chest voice and head voice. So if you're just taking chest voice and trying to get up that, you know what I'm saying? I don't mean to keep going over it, but I teach people all the time, and I'm trying to plant these seeds in your mind. So you already know, and I'm sure you already know, and my students will probably already know, one of the most common things that people are not doing when they're trying to learn mixed voice and that they do not know about, we all know about crying on pitch. We all know about, trying to make funny sounds like cats, meow, and all that stuff. And people having like, yeah, those sounds and things like that. But the main thing I find that people do not know about at all is utilizing nasality and pharyngeal. As you move from chest voice to head voice, you're going to be going through a version of nasality, or the mask, or whatever thing you want to talk about. And if you're not able to spend time and utilize that space, or have it become a part of your voice that makes sense, that you're not afraid of, that you can add to the voice, you're going to struggle. If you are so used to hearing your chest voice as this kind of big, boomy, throaty type of sound that when you go up, you're not transitioning at all into this space, you're always going to have trouble. Now, I know people are going to fight back right out of the gate and be like, I don't want to sing like that and stuff. Well, then maybe mixed voice is not for you. Also, I want you to recognize that when you start making nasal sounds or singing or practicing nasality, it's probably going to sound a lot more cartoony and strange because you haven't spent much time there, and then it will become more a gelled part of the voice. But think about it this way, which I've said to plenty of people too. Plenty people, you know, the plenty people. So if we have this arena, this is where you're mostly hearing my voice from now. Everybody's got physical differences, different physicality, different skull shape, nose shape, everything like that. But for the most part, right now, you're hearing the bulk of my speaking voice coming from here. The arena then, so to speak, the resonance is mostly kind of happening here. As I go up, I can try to keep that sound there, and that's what most people do. Ah! And everything stays there, and it just cracks and whatever. That means I'm not utilizing any of this other sound up in here unless I'm going to... There I'm starting to use a whole different arena of sound. What I'm saying is, think about these things like a dome or a stage. We're able to move the way that we amalgamate our sound, the way that our resonance is bouncing around in our head and our skull, because that's the body as an instrument. So most people are experiencing that almost only exclusively from kind of down here. When we kind of bring this nasality into it, at first it might be kind of just like this or something, but at least I'm starting to pull my voice into another place that I might not be completely used to or comfortable with, and then it will become part of the whole thing. Remember, once you do these things more, you're going to start to hear them more in other people when you listen. For example, I didn't recognize, as a fan of Chris Cornell's voice and how much I learned from singing along with him, I didn't really recognize at first that he's a very nasal singer. There's a lot of nasality to his sound. On a cobweb afternoon, on a cobweb afternoon. There's a lot of nose in there. And there's consistently that throughout most of his music. I brought up the dude from Maroon 5 recently, maybe begrudgingly. A lot of nasality in his sound. You don't think about it that way typically. People think, oh, he's just got a high voice. Well, sort of, but he's also adding a shitload of nasality, which most people don't recognize. Why don't they recognize it? Well, they don't recognize it because it's gelled with the rest of the voice. But if I go, I have not sang yet today. What's their music? This love has taken its toll on me. She said goodbye so many times before. For her heart is breaking in front of me. Whatever, right? You can probably tell right away now. Oh, there's a whole bunch of right. If you don't spend time there, it's always going to be cartoony and foreign to you. And I think it's safe to say that might very well be the missing piece that you're dealing with. Now, like I mentioned before, and I keep mentioning on all these videos, your resonance is moving like a thermometer in the body. When we go from chest to head, if we go from here and then flip, we're just going, and we're skipping this entire section. As we get better at making some of these sounds, some of the things I did in my last video, some of the things I did in plenty of videos, where I'm not taking you through complicated scales that don't matter. We just take sirens like this. We're learning how to shut most of this tension down, but now we're going to focus mostly on nasal. How do we focus on nasal? If you have an awareness of your placement, where the voice is vibrating in the mouth, we should be able to learn to manipulate that placement, that laser pointer, where the voice is going to. Is straight out of the face. You guys. If I go backwards, I would tend to put the head down, which is very important to the mixed voice success as well. Learning to position your head down a little bit more, to push the voice up this way, to remind yourself to push up, and to loosen some of these muscles that want to go like this as you sing higher. Loosening those muscles, and we're making more of an EH sound. EH, ENG, UNG. So, say we took, if I sing somebody else's song and I might have already sang too much of something, and then YouTube will be like, you used somebody's song. I think recently I did Hotel California because it exists right on baritone's bridges. On a bridge of a baritone. I know that sounded ridiculous. Baritone's bridges. But I sang that a couple times, and then YouTube was like, Nope, you can't monetize your video because you used Hotel California. Okay, sure. So anyway, if we took scales, we're going to take scales. We're going to add nasality to them. I've done this before, and I talked about nasality before. Maybe this is your first lesson, video lesson with me. But if we start down here a little bit, make the voice nasal on purpose. Find songs that you're singing, make them nasal on purpose. Remind yourself to keep the head down. Like I said, that can be EH. But what you're doing is you're projecting back towards the soft palate where your uvula hangs down. And what's happening on a physical level is then your resonance is allowed to move behind the soft palate where the opening is, up into your head. So that's one of the parts, again, of this mixed voice thing. We're already shedding a lot of the weight of chest voice from down here, this arena, and we're starting to put ourselves up here. So another great thing about mix and learning about your nasality is that if you sing a little bit more with nasality, or you get used to that, or you get used to bringing that into your sound, you're already shedding a lot of the weight from here. If you sing very throaty, as I mentioned, and then start to add nasality, you're probably going to hear a night and day difference in your voice, and then you're not going to be like digging that at all. You're going to be like, oh, then I sound like a different person. This is why we learned how to mix all these things together. Everything's loose here. We're getting close to the bridge. This is right on my bridge. So recognize your tendency to either get louder or to start backing off that pressure. We need to hand over that pressure to the nose as much as we can. Imagine this water filling up here. Don't allow that water to bloat and come out this way. Imagine it getting smaller and going this way. We're handing it over to the nose. And as I said in my last video too, don't trick yourself and get stuck in head voice. Or falsetto. Am I doing it? No. When in doubt, move back to chest voice, move back to your speaking voice. I say that all the time to students with all kinds of things. When in doubt, come back to your chest voice, your speaking voice. Speaking voice. Don't add support and do all these things. Make it simple. Come back to ah. So let's continue. Back in the back. Remember, I'm coming back to chest each time. One more. Ugh, I have not sang it today, and I injured my neck, so that's why I haven't been on YouTube in a little while. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Can you hear what's happening in there? And can you tell that the night and day difference between if that's happening to you, remember, and I keep trying to tell people this, that happened to me too. I didn't come out of the womb singing these weird, mixed voice things or making these sounds. I really, really had to learn this stuff over many, many years. Do I still struggle with it? Yes. Some of these things are very hard to do live. They go against instinct. I made a video about that last week or whenever it was posted. So, okay, so let's take a couple more of these. I would love to sing a song with this. We'll take a song and then YouTube can do whatever it's going to do. Let's take Leg of Stone because everybody knows that. And we're going to make it nasal. I think it's probably A minor, something like that, or it might be half step. I don't know. But we have on a cobweb afternoon. So we're going to go on a cobweb afternoon in a room full of emptiness. Let's do another line. By freeway, I confess I was lost in the pages. Hear that? So I'm trying to add as much nose as that to that as I can. Remember that as you practice this, the sound is probably going to be more forced and tiny. As you keep practicing this over weeks and adding this to your sound, it will start to open up and relax and become part of the rest of your voice. I sing with a lot of nasal stuff in my voice because my voice likes that. It tends to be more relieving and not as much pressure builds. And I have a big schnoz, like I got a big nose, so it's, it's pleasing in my voice. What are you going to do? So anyway, Trying to make it as nasal as possible. Another part of this being the missing piece is that people are like, how the hell do I enunciate through mixed voice when I find those sounds? When I find out how to go, oh, 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 when I find that sound, that mixed voice sound, how do I enunciate through that? It's very similar to what we're doing with nasality. When you're shutting a lot of this down, the way that you typically enunciate, keeping the head down, you're going to start to learn how to kind of like ventriloquist these words through. Meaning the enunciation is happening right here, right in the front of the face. It doesn't need to happen very harshly. It doesn't need to happen very, intelligibly, where you need to really don't stop believing or something like that. You can really just kind of mouth some of these sounds in a light way and you'll get enough enunciation. But either way, when you're starting out down this road, under-enunciate. Under-enunciating a lot of this stuff is going to help you dramatically because enunciation is the thing that kills the voice. That doesn't just mean in mixed voice or whatever. That means in all music. Enunciation stops the voice from working correctly. If your body is an instrument, and I give you a note like this. Right there, I was open, I was relaxed, I was diaphragmatic, I had natural vibrato happening. All of those things happen because of, building a foundation and singing. The second I go and put a word in there and has a G in it, an R in it, a T in it, an S in it, it will ruin that natural, beautiful vibrato connection, etc., etc. So I need to learn how to underdo those things. I can't do them like I do in my speaking voice. T, right there, all that went away. T, S. There I had to end that S and get it the hell out of here. This is the same across the board. Like if you were going to a person about opera or classical music, we have to learn how to enunciate. I always talk about the word great, for example. The reason that the word great sounds nice when I sing it correctly, great, is because of the vowel, the elongated vowel. Everything else sucks. Great, that's terrible, and it ruins the speaking. It ruins the singing voice, the quality of the vowel, the quality of being open. So as we go higher, that becomes even more imperative that we learn how to enunciate correctly or under enunciate. So if I go even higher, let's take the same song. On a cobweb afternoon in a room full of emptiness. Right there, I'm not trying to teach you how to sing like me, which is what a lot of people might think. Like, he just wants people, that's all, he's a one-trick pony, or whatever you're trying to think in your brains. I'm teaching you that you can hear what I'm saying, sort of. You can put it together, especially because you know the song, but I'm really not doing much with the mouth at all, or the jaw, or any of that. I'm just lightly kind of getting some of that enunciation here and trying to keep myself open and in the back and everything else. So... On a cobweb afternoon in a room full of emptiness by a freeway, I confess I was lost in the pages of a book full of death. So you can tell that everything's kind of shut down, right? So the sound is actually taking place more up here, but I still got enough ma 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 ma. If you have trouble with that, and you will, I always inform my students to do it with one vowel first. So say we were taking this again, way up here. Mama, mama. Do it with one sound. And then find out what it should feel like. Find the pocket that's working for you to stay connected. The sound that's working is what I mean by that. And then lightly try to put those words back into that place. So you're finding basically like a ball, like a resonance, a pocket. Then you're going to lightly wrap the words around that pocket. The more those words start to interfere with the shape of that ball, roundness, pocket, resonance, the more you're going to struggle and fall down here, etc., etc. Mama, we'll go to the higher part of that. Mama, 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 mama. I forgot the words. Anyway, doesn't matter. You can practice along. I hope some of this helped. I hope some of this made sense. I can't think of other things I would necessarily take you through. I just wanted to plant the seed in your mind about nasality. Remember, this stuff's all coming from experimentation. It's coming from really just kind of knowing the right way to go about this. And everybody wants a magical scale or a magical do this every day type of thing, but this is a journey. So keep working at it, keep experimenting with it. Find ways to enjoy that journey. It's not about the destination, every quote that you've ever read online. But yeah, try to find ways to enjoy this stuff. We could take AC/DC, we could take a lot of these same things. I was caught in the middle of a railroad track. That's probably close to the key, but you can tell again how much the sound is staying in there. I was caught in the middle of a railroad track. And you can tell it just a little bit of middle of a railroad track. So, like I said, hope this helps. I will see you soon for more lesson things and singing stuff. I appreciate you joining me.